Hi, my name is Imran from imstech.co.uk, and today I'm going to show you guys how to create the page layout for a website using div tags, and we're going to use CSS to control the look and feel of the page and to control the properties of the div tag. This is the third tutorial on CSS, so if you guys want to sort of in-depth look at CSS from the start, visit my other tutorials. Right, so I'm just going to get started. The first thing I'm going to do is create a new page, a new HTML page. So right click and new file, give this the name of index, index.html. Index is the home page. Double click into the page. There's nothing on the page at the moment, it's absolutely blank. The first thing that I need to do is add a div. Now the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to create a container for all of the divs, and within the container I'm going to add a header. I'm going to add a navigation on the left, and on the right of that it will be the main section where the content will be displayed, and right at the bottom will be a footer. So the first thing I need to do to add a div is I need to go to Insert, Layout Objects, Div Tag, and press. Now I'm going to give this a name called, I'm going to call it container. Yep, just checking my spellings. New. Now it's important, rather than pressing OK, you press the new CSS rule, because this is a new CSS rule. Now we've seen this in the previous tutorials. This is a box, the dialog box that appears. This is type class, where previously we've worked on tags. This time it's a class. The class name is dot container, and it is not going to be attached to this document. This is going to be attached to an external document, so I'm going to press new style sheet file, press OK, because it's the first time a style sheet will be created on this sort of workspace. I'm going to have to give a style sheet the name. I'm going to call it style. Save that. Now the category that we're going to be working on mainly is going to be the box category, and within there these are the properties for the div mainly, although the others are also useful, and we'll look at some of them in hopefully in a while. But to start off with, the width will be, for mine, will be 1000, and the height will be 1000, just to keep it simple. I'm going to press OK and OK again. Now I hope you can see the dotted lines have sort of created the div tag. It's just a container, and I'm going to delete this text. So this is the container. Now it's important that when I add my header, the div tag that will hold the header, I click inside the actual div. And the way you can check to see whether you're inside the div or not, whether your cursor's inside the div, is if you look right at the bottom, it says body, and then it says div.container, so that shows that I'm actually within the div tag. So at the leftmost point, I'm going to press Insert, Layout Objects, and div tag again. This time I'm going to give it a header. The class name will be header, or actually I'll call it banner. Banner, again, new CSS rule. Keep everything the same. This time notice the style.css style sheet has already been selected for us, so we'll leave that as is and press OK. Now going inside the box category again, give it a width of 1000 and give it a height of, say, 200. Yeah, let's go with 200. And now the important thing to do with this one is make sure it's floated to the left, so that will be the leftmost point it could possibly go, or that the space would allow. So I'm going to press OK and press OK again, and you can see that there is now a div within it, a div. So if I click inside, you can see that it's body, then div.container is within div.banner. I'm going to delete this text. Now just to show you guys, just to make it more visible, I'm just going to also show you something else where I can actually go back in using this button and edit the rule. So I'm going to edit the rule and I'm going to go into backgrounds and give it a background color, just a simple color. Press OK, so you can see it slightly clearer. And also another way of going in and editing, you can just go in and sort of just change the values. If I decided that I wanted it to be 300, I can go on this section and change it to 300 pixels rather than 200. But we're just going to carry on. I'm going to click the actual edge of the div until I've got the blue line, and then on my keyboard I'm going to press the right button. Now what that's done, it's still within the div.container, which I can see right here, but it's come outside of the div.banner, and it's at the leftmost point. Now I'm going to press insert. I'm going to again do the same thing, layout objects div tag. This time I'm going to call it nav, because this is where my navigation will go. Again, it's a new CSS rule. Press OK. Box, give it a width of 200, but give it a height of 600. So it's like a long strip. A very important point, make sure it's floated to the left. Just give it a color, just sort of just for visibility to show you guys. Try an orangey color, press OK and OK again. So you can see, even though the cursor was right at the edge of the pink, it's actually, because of it's within the container, it couldn't fit there, so it's gone to the next most point and it's fit right below it, which is perfect. Doing the same thing again, clicking at the edge of it and then pressing right. So again, I'm back into the div.container just outside of the div.nav. This time I'm going to do this quite fairly quickly. Layout objects, div tag, just going to call it body or main. Again, new CSS rule. OK. Box, give it a width, should be 800 because it's minusing from the 200 I've put into the navigation, and the height is going to be 600, so it just matches nicely. Float it again to the leftmost point, give it a color, background color, try a bluey color, and press OK and OK once again. So we can see how the sort of div tags are being created. Again, doing the same thing, click right at the edge and press right with the keyboard. So I've gone to the just outside of the div.main, but just inside the container. Again, press insert, layout objects div tag, give it the name footer, new CSS rule, press OK, give it a background color. This time I'll give it at the start. Doesn't really matter anyway. Give it a width of 1000, because now it's important to notice that it will go to the bottom because it won't fit within the container. So 1000, and the height will be a remaining 200, I think. Yeah, press OK and OK once again. Oops, that's strange. Right, okay. I think it is because I haven't floated it to the left most point. There you go. So that just shows the importance of floating it to the left. It's a key point, an error that is very common. So as you can see, each time I float it to the left, if there's not enough space for it, it will just move across and fit into the next available gap, which would be below. That's why it's also important to have a container to start off with, and each time float the div to the left so it sticks and it creates the layout. I've picked ridiculously horrible colors, but the purpose I sort of created them just to show you guys the different divs that are present rather than it just being white with the dotted lines, which isn't very clear. This text could be deleted. Yeah, so you can see the sort of website has sort of the layout of the website at least has sort of started to develop and sort of create. We've created it. If I press F12 now, I'm just going to quickly run this to show you guys. Yeah, so you can see this would the pink one would typically be a banner, the left would be the navigation buttons. This is where the body and the footer is fairly large, but anyway. Yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll try and do another one on CSS shortly. This has been Imran from imstech.co.uk. Comment, rate and subscribe, and also inbox me if you've got any sort of requests.